Hello there. In this tutorial, I'm going to discuss about networking protocol. So, before we learned about networking protocol, we were wants to see the definition of protocol. What is exactly the protocol is? So, we discuss about network. We discuss about networking. We discuss about what is the requirement of network. Uh, Two computers when communicate with each other need a platform, need a, a similar situation so that they're able to communicate with each other. For example, this computer is wants to communicate with this computer, so need a platform, need a technology so that this computer when send a data, then it moves to the router computer, then router computer decides that which route is the best way and then send the data. But this is the platform. Okay, we need a platform. Either protocol will be either the network will be either wired or wireless, but we need some platform. But that doesn't mean that sending packets will do everything. I mean, if my computer send a packet to a receiver end, that doesn't mean that receiver end will able to respond. That never be the same. For example, could be uh, for example, this computer may not be understand what my computer just sent, so it could be possible. So we need some standard protocols so that my user, uh, my computer, whenever plans to send data, plans to communicate with some computer, then the receiving computer should understand what I'm saying. That's the key, and that's the reason communications are possible. That if I have a network, and if the receiving computer is also having a network, but if both are not able to understand each other's voice, not able to understand each other's requests, then how communication will happen? That's the reason protocols are very important. See, the thing which networking is very important is the communication type and the protocol. Two things are very important in the network. The how network is able to communicate. Now in the communicate that networking type, we encounter uh, the topology, that what are the topologies are. It's a bus or star, a tree, or a hybrid or a mesh, whatever that you will encounter the topology types. But mainly our networking, we need to know the type of network, how that network is connected, either it's for connected with the either is connected with the wireless. So it's not a problem that yes, connection type is there, but no matter whatsoever, connecting to device doesn't mean that communication will happen. For example, two persons are there, wants to communicate with each other. If one person is in from India and another person is from US, then both should know either Hindi or either English. Mainly English is is a universal language, and that's the reason if you understand English, then you able to talk with different cultural peoples, because English is a universal language, and universally English has been has been make a quite mark, and all countries are now forcing English, developing English skills. The reason why, because English is accepted as a universal language, so person should know at least English, at least the foundation not be there. So if wants to communicate, then both persons should know English, or both persons should know Hindi. That's it's happened when the networking started, and those days were computer when start building with each other, start building with some vendors. What exactly they did, they start launching their own protocols, their own proprietary protocols. Basically, network protocols, which I feel is divided by two, is first is open and second is proprietary based. Proprietary based. Now, open means accepted by everyone. Proprietary means a particular manufacturer basically having a particular type of a protocol. So open means all the manufacturers will accept this protocol. A proprietary means a particular manufacturer, particular vendor created a protocol, and that will only be used in their own made computer, on their own manufactured computer. So during initial days, computers start building, vendors start building the computers, and different vendors start creating uh, different types of proprietary protocols. Basically, those days, IBM, all the products were made IBM, but computers like Novell, Apple are having their own proprietary based protocols. For example, IPX, XPX, uh, sorry, IPX. This is Novell made that proprietary IPX, XPX, and Apple created Apple 12. So these are two different proprietors, and then IBM's their own proprietary based uh, protocol. So when vendors start creating their own protocols, own proprietary protocols, then problems start creating, because for example, if Apple's computer wants to communicate with Windows computer, then they're simply not able to, because both language are different. Both operating system is written in different languages. For example, Linux is different, Windows is different. They're written in some coding, means Linux is written in Unix, start developing, and Windows is written in some language. They have their own pattern of creating programs. So these are the things. And if, for example, if Oracle creates some operating system, then they will have their own way of writing the language. So everything is different. So the reason why these operating systems are communicating with each other, because they are having some similarities. Similarly, the network should have a similarity. Uh, no doubt they are different, but they should be known each other. They should know what I'm going to respond, what that receiving end will going to accept, what will happen. So that's the reason networking protocol That's the reason organization like ISO came up with, and they came up with OSI protocol, the Open System Interconnection Protocol, are family information exchange standards developed jointly by the ISO and the ITU-T. The standardization process began in 1977. So, at 1977, this talk was started about the open system interconnection. Means one theoretical network is required. Uh, Basically, OSI is a theoretical model and is just for the standardization. It's just for the conceptual worry that yes, one model is required. How it's going to talk? It needs application, presentation, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, physical layer. All these layers have their own word. So there's a reference for the teaching and documentation. The protocols originally considered the model did not gain popularity, and only X400, X500, and ISIS have achieved lasting impact. The goal of an open standard protocol suite instead has been met by the Internet Protocol Suite maintain the Internet Engineering Task Force. When I open this documentation, I will get to know about the protocol suite. But the OSI protocols are basically have only one thing, and that is the giving a suite, giving a protocol which should be same, which should be a standard protocol to all the networks. So these are the layer we already discussed what their works are, what they actually do, but our main motto is to know why OSI made, why ISO created this model, what is the requirements. So another protocol which is quite useful then is transmission control protocol, and even that protocol is now used as internet, and it's quite regularly used. We all know that TCP is a core protocol, the Internet Protocol Suite. It's originated in the initial network implementation in which it competed with the Internet Protocol. Means it's a standard protocols which is actually is known as the TCP, and you can see that when you open the documentation of Internet Protocol Suite, as the computer networking model and set up the communication protocols use the internet and similar computer network. It's also commonly known as TCP/IP because it's the most important protocol, the transmission control protocol and the internet protocol were the first networking protocols defined in the standard, often is called as internet model, and originally known as DoD model, Department of Defense, which created this protocol. We learned that TCP/IPs, what the requirements was, and this is one such protocols which built for where you can say that this is one such protocol which is built as standard, so that all every vendor's computer is able to communicate with each other, and still it's very much used as protocol for internet. Now you can go with the history, what is the requirement, and basically started as ARPANET, is started by ARPANET in 1969 after initiating the pioneering ARPANET in 1969. DARPA started work on a number of the data transmission technologies. In 1972, Robert E. Kahn joined the DARPA Information Processing Technology Office, where he worked on both satellite packet networks, ground-based radio packet networks, and recognized the value of being able to communicate across both. So this is a history of TCP/IP, how it built, what are the requirements of build, why it's adopted. So this is one such protocols which is currently used and used for the internet. So it's also like intranet, also known as. So we can be known about the TCP more, about the TCP IP, but the main thing which I wants to tell you that this is what the open source protocol is. And when you're talking about the IPX, XPX, or AppleTalk, these are the protocols which actually created by their specific vendors. Like IPX, XPX is created by Novell Network operating systems, and AppleTalk is obviously from Apple. But the reason they created because they want their computers to communicate with their own computer. But problem of this proprietary based protocols is when you're talking about this protocol, this computer, for example, is for Apple and wants to communicate with Novell's computer, then both language are different, both protocol is different. Then how we are able to communicate? That's the key, and that's the reason networking protocols is so important, a part of our life. That without having a standard protocol, we're not able to communicate with each other. And that's the reason now Windows computer can communicate with Apple computer can communicate with Windows computer, any computer, any kind of computers. If manufacturing is still famous, even Linux nowadays, manufacturers are not that important, but your operating types are, like Windows or Linux. These are important part of operating systems. I mean, for example, you have a Macintosh, you have Windows, you have Linux. They're all three kind of operating systems, have their own codings, of their own languages, but they're able to communicate with each other. That's because of the one standard protocol, and that is TCP/IP model. So this is TCP/IP is basically internet, which is we are using currently, and they created the reason create why create, but basically open based protocols are of two types. Either you can say OSI model, which is the best example, that all the vendors, all manufacturers accepted the protocol. Though it's not practically possible, but it's defined, and that's the reason OSI model having it's very important in networking concept. Those again, it's not physically present, but definition way, OSI model is very important. Second thing is your TCP, which is we are using as the internet, and that's the reason whenever you want to communicate with computers, even want static IP to configure, then you require to configure as TCP/IP model, either TCP/IPv4 or TCP/IPv6. So hope you learned something about networking protocol, and I think though we are not going very deep on protocol, but This is what protocol is required. Protocol is a way, uh, it's a kind of uh, a rule set to communicate with each other. It means a kind of a definition, a kind of a language for on a computer to send and receive data with each other. So network protocol is very important because if two computers are not able to understand their respective language, then how they will send and receive data. So that's the reason protocol is very important. Protocols are two-type, basically as open or proprietary. So open will created uh, by organization, for example ISO or you can say the ARPANET, which built TCP/IP DoD, Defense of uh, Department of Defense. So and proprieties based are protocols which manufactured by a group, vendor and manufacturers. So these are IPX, XPX, or AppleTalk mainly, which was, if we take an example, network protocols. I hope you learned something about the concept of networking protocols. Thanks for watching.